Hi, and welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Pastor Paul Steele from Bethlehem Church in Austin, Minnesota. The Bottom Line is our weekly summary of the previous Sunday's sermon. And we've been in this sermon series we've called Asking for a Friend for 14 weeks. On Sunday, we did our 14th sermon in this series. And we asked the question, is it wrong for a Christian to experience anxiety and depression? Is it wrong for a Christian to experience anxiety and depression? And one of the reasons that this question comes up is because we read in the Bible, like in the Sermon on the Mount, when Jesus says, hey, don't worry about anything. Don't worry. And so when we're anxious, we're like, well, am I sinning? Is it wrong for me to be anxious about the future, about what's happening in my life? Or when we read in Philippians, where Paul says, hey, live your life with joy. I say it again, rejoice. And we're depressed and we're like, is this wrong? Am I sinning because I can't express joy in my life right now? And what happens then is that we begin not only having to deal with the depression or the anxiety, but we have this guilt and shame piled upon us because we feel like, man, we're sinning as well. So is it wrong for a Christian to experience things like anxiety and depression? Well, when we look at the Bible, what we discover is that people of faith have experienced and go through these types of periods in their life. 61 of the Psalms are Psalms of lament where people are crying out to God in despair. God, where are you? I'm in this dark place in my life. Or we can take a look at the prophet Elijah, who after his victory on Mount Carmel, where God answers his prayer and burns up his sacrifice with fire from heaven, and he then learns that Queen Jezebel wants him dead, he runs off into the wilderness and prays to God, God, take my life. He's in this depression and despair. So we see that people of faith go through these times of depression and anxiety. So it's not wrong. Rather than seeing it as a sin, what we should see it as a symptom of some that should cause us to delve into our hearts and our minds and like what is in our spirits and ask the question, what needs to be addressed? Just like physical pain shows us and reminds us that, hey, there's something wrong with our body that needs to be addressed. Things like anxiety and depression are reminding us that, hey, there's something in our heart, there's something in our spirit that we need to address with God. And so when we, as followers of Jesus, are helping people who are experiencing depression and anxiety, we need to remember to be present, show up, offer a shoulder to cry on and a listening ear. Be compassionate. Don't downplay what they're experiencing. Don't say, hey, this is no big deal. No, be compassionate and understanding with their emotions and what they are experiencing in these moments. And then also be able to offer hope. That's the foundation really of Christianity, this hope that we have in Jesus Christ. And remind them that this moment is going to pass. Then as we who experience depression and anxiety, we need to remember that we are not only physical beings, but we're emotional beings, we're mental beings, we're spiritual beings. And so those are the types of things that we have to address when we're going through depression or anxiety. So we need to look at our physical being. Are we getting exercise? Are we getting enough sleep? Are we eating right? Are we drinking enough water? I know some of that sounds so basic, but our physical life plays a part in our spiritual life and in our emotional life. In our emotional life, are we putting good things into our thoughts and into our minds? What are we focusing on? And then with our spiritual life, are we doing the things that connect us to life with God? Are we praying? Are we meditating? Are we thanking God? Are we worshiping? Because those all have great impact on our mental and emotional well-being. And so our bottom line on Sunday was this: when we experience depression or anxiety, we need to anchor our hope in the love and promises of God. We need to anchor those, our hope in God's love and his promises. And as we do that, that lays that foundation that keeps us anchored there as we seek help through our physical and our emotional and our spiritual well-being. Our challenge is to check in on a friend that you know who struggles with depression or anxiety, because one is they're needing some companionship. They're needing to know that people care about them. But also, if we're going through depression and anxiety, that helps us as we reach out to other people. Hey, thank you again for being part of Bethlehem. And even if you can't be with us in person, we're glad that you join us online. But remember, you can be part of Bethlehem every Sunday morning at 10:30 here in Austin, Minnesota, next to Ellis Middle School, or online on YouTube and Facebook. If you want to help us do ministry here in Austin, the best way to do that is to give. You can go to our website, BethlehemChurchAustin.com, and go to the Give tab. And then if you have any prayer requests that you'd like me to be praying about, drop me a note, and I'd be glad to pray for you, add you to my prayer list. So have a wonderful rest of the week, and God bless.